Oh yes. So today this little beauty, bit more choke, is going to be transformed in one day to electric with just myself and Johnny. We've got, what's the time now? 7 o'clock. So we've got the rest of the day to convert it, and not only convert it, we're going to show you how to install our new conversion kit. So stay tuned. Right then, John boy, let's get to it. So the time is two minutes past 8. We are basically going to get crack-a-lacking and see how quick we can get this conversion kit here in that car. So speaking of engine, if anyone wants to challenge me in how long it takes to remove this, then drop it in the comments below. I reckon I can get it out in half an hour, maybe, we'll see. With the engine, just removing all the wires going to it, currently removing the 2 small wires that go to the dynamo. We're going to remove the fuel lines, we're going to remove the air intake off the back, the choke cable and the throttle cable, and first things first actually, which I forgot, is to just get the 12-watt battery at the front, because there's live wires in the rear. Disconnected, good. Fuel line. Air throttle. So the ignition coil is quite an interesting one, because the small wire going to the ignition coil from the original Loom is essentially ignition live, and it's a wire that we use for the install. So this small wire here coming off the ignition coil, we're going to reuse that. Right, so basically, I'm going to lift this whole engine and gearbox out in one lump sum. On the side, I'm going to whip these drive shafts off. Speedo cable, easy to remove. Hey, you scared I'm going to get the engine out before you get the interior out?
Terrified.
What do you reckon, Johnny? Do this on the jack or transmission jack?
Nah, do it on the jack, mate.
It's a bit safer, isn't it?
Well, it's just easier, isn't it?
Okay. Right, I'm ready to come down, Johnny, when you are.
I reckon you've still got a choke cable or starter cable attached.
He's right, the choke cable. Come on, baby.
Starter cable?
Starter cable. Oh yeah. Okay, so time is. Now I'm about it. So we're 23 minutes, so that was 20 minutes. Not bad. Right, so we're 20 minutes in, engine and gearbox is removed. Now the next job basically is to remove this air duct here. So we're gonna use an air hacksaw to cut around it. It's unavoidable cutting this off. We don't like to modify the vehicle in any way we can get away with it, but this thing takes up so much space, it's just gotta go. Once you remove the air duct, it's always good practice to just touch up the edges.
Good stuff.
Yep. Basically, what we're going to do is the original wiring loom, we're going to not disturb it as best we can, and we're just going to snip off live wires and heat shrink over them, basically, and tuck them away. It's the simplest way. I mean, you can remove them, the ones we don't need, but it's a big job and just unnecessary because we still need parts of this rear loom, which is feeding the lights and ignition core and stuff like that. So we're just gonna snip and heat shrink. So these three here, I'll just snip them off different lengths. And then I'm gonna get some heat shrink. We use adhesive line heat shrink, it's really, really good. Gonna wrap a bit of Loom tape around it. We're quite spoilt with this car because it's so clean. Like a lot of the cars we take apart are filthy, and this one is been beautifully restored. So we won't be needing this fuel tank anymore. Fuel tank is ready. So there's two M8 bolts there. Beautiful fuel tank. Oh, farewell, my friend. It does smell good. Ooh, don't get that with electric, but don't tell anyone. Right. So in terms of the front, that's pretty much all we need to remove is the fuel tank. And now,
Pull the speedo cable that way there, please.
sure. So this is the speedo cable. We don't need this anymore. Our digital speedo takes a speed sensor signal from the electric motor.
You can see what they went to the square screen off the round.
Here is a square original binnacle. We do a digital version for this and the round one. The time now is it's just gone 9 o'clock.
Is it?
Yeah, in an
That's
hour,
not bad,
we've got
is
the
it?
engine and gearbox out and everything you need to get out of this car. We've done it, obviously, hundreds of times. Maybe not hundreds of times. We've done it lots of times. So Johnny's laid the kit out beautifully here. This is everything that goes into that car to make it electric. It's also all packaged as if it would be in the box when you receive it. When you receive it, you'll get one of these, a kit inventory. It's basically got all of the components laid out with part numbers. So without further ado, we're going to make a crack to get it in the car. It's 9 o'clock, we're an hour in, we're on schedule so far. 1, 2, 3.
It's 3, 2, 1 actually.
Oh my lord, you okay?
That twisted, yeah.
Jesus. Okay, then we're going to strap it on there. So this motor here, first thing to note, it's got a gearbox bolted to it, which is a single speed reduction 6-to-1 gearbox. So we're removing the original gearbox. They leak oil and they're a bit clunky, so this one's also completely silent. And the electric motor is 44 kilowatts, so 50, 60 horsepower, something like that. Plenty of poke. Right, you'll take that wheel off, Johnny.
Yep.
45 years
Take that wheel off, he says, comes over.
Going in. And then lift her up top. There. This bracket here bolts into where the gearbox bolted into, and I'm going to reuse the bolts that came out of it. So this is the rear motor mount bracket, which bolts into the rear panel. We also supply this. This is a drill jig. So you have to drill one 8mm hole, and this helps you align the hole. So I'll show you how to do that now. So I'm going to rest this over here. Precision engineering. It allows you to find that center point. I've made a little brick there. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm going to go all the way through. Just going to keep it as square as possible. This is 8.5mm, I think. One. So that's the only hole we should need to drill for this. Okay. I'm going to bolt this in. But yeah, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fit this bracket. In fitting this bracket here, we're having a bit of difficulty because this bump stop is actually off the Fiat 126 that someone's modified to work, so it doesn't work. So this is the sort of stuff you might come across when you're installing the kit. Non-standard parts fitted or any dodgy rust repair panels where stuff doesn't line up. You can run into issues, so be prepared. Ooh. You want to bring the car down in that side?
Yeah, sure.
Right, great. Now in. Yeah, that's great. Lovely. What we're going to do is loosely do up the bolts in this rear mount here. We're not going to tighten them up just yet. And then we're going to put the M10 nut on this bracket up here. Wow. So I'll nip those up with that.
Pretty cool that it lines up there.
Yeah, that's really cool. So this is the final bracket to tighten up. So the electric motor and gearbox assembly is essentially three major brackets. We've got one here in the gearbox mount, got one there on the original engine mount, and this one here which goes into the bump stop and the rear panel. So with those three bolted in now, you should be able to remove this. And there we go, she's in. So now the motor is bolted in, the next step is drive shaft. So we're going to remove these rubber couplers here. By removing the split pin and the big nut. So just removing the split pins. So we're also going to hang on to this steel spacer as well. Off. Wrong way.
How do they do that?
First thing you need to do, it's not already inside, is fit the big steel spacer. And then in our drive thrust kit, you're going to have another stainless steel spacer which goes over it again. And then we're going to reverse the cut. So usually it goes that way around, and we're going to reverse it like this, okay? And then we're going to get a washer, a nut. We've got new nuts as well, nylon nuts, which go in there. Up. Throw that out. So basically there's a crush tube in here, which actually needs a lot of torque to get the pre-lead right on the bearing. So
How do you check that it's right?
Just by feel.
And make sure there's no play in there.
No play, yeah, obviously no play in here as well. So that's what you're
looking for.
Yeah. Cool. So, drive shaft, this is one of our drive shafts. It's basically, they come in two sizes. This one's 500mm, and the 500mm one goes in this side of the car. This drive shaft's got a little spring clip on it. So you just have to slide her in.
You got it now.
There you go, popped in.
There she is.
So Johnny's got my drive shaft bolts here. So
Glamorous assistant.
the drive shaft bolts are basically look a bit like this. Loctite. Yeah, recommend Loctiting these. The drive shaft bolts also have a shoulder on them as well.
Here you are.
time check. We're 10 past 11 and we have the motor, gearbox and drive shafts in and everything out we don't need. Next stage is to fill the gearbox up with oil and start fitting the battery pack system and wiring. So we're pumping in 0.8 litres of gearbox. Right, so next up we have the charger. So this is the AC charger, which basically charges up the battery pack. It comes pretty much like this with all the connectors on it you need. So I'm going to bolt this into the car now. Also, if you check the nut and bolt fasteners box, you'll have a fasteners kit for it as well. And it basically goes in here like this. Slide the end there. So next up we have wiring. So this is the low voltage wiring loom. The first thing we're going to do is open up the bag. So these are actually made in-house and they take a lot of time and effort because they're very labour intensive. So basically the first thing I want to do, get it all out. So this is your main permanent live feed to the rear basically. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this, temporarily remove this lug. This has actually got a fuse built into it as well, which is quite handy. So I'm going to take that one off and I'm going to start laying the loom in the car, starting with running this bad boy right to the front. So this section of the loom basically goes to the front of the vehicle. So starting with this one, this goes, your permanent live goes straight to the battery post at the front. Then you've got this one here. This one is basically going to go up to the screen and connect into the screen loom. Then you've got forward and reverse switch and throttle on these. And all of this wiring goes through and down into the tunnel. So conveniently, we have quite a lot of holes going through here. So, you know, you can choose which one you really want. These ones already have rubber grommets on them, so I'm going to send the plugs all basically through here. The braided one, I think the forward and reverse switch one. Yeah, great. Okay, so this is your screen connector for the LCD screen, and we're sending it through the original hole where the speedo cable came through. Next job, now the loom is roughly in the car, is to bolt in one of the boot plates. So we've got three-part boot plate here. I'm going to bolt in just one side. Actually, before I bolt it in, sorry, I'm going to bolt the inverter onto the underside. So depending on where you are and where your kit is being shipped to, if you're in a hot region, we recommend putting some heat sink compound on the heat sink before you mount the inverter. This car is a UK car and we've never had any issues with temperature spikes with inverters. So with the inverter now bolted up to the heatsink, I can rest this boot plate into the car like this. Now that gives me a good datum for where a lot of the wires go to. With that rested there, you can see this 35-pin connector goes in. It's always quite a good idea to just put it in, right, and then you know exactly where that's going, and you can think about cable management. This 4-pin here connects this 4-pin on the charger. A 6-pin here, which is the encoder for the motor. You can see they match as well. There's probably a few different variations you can do the cable management. It takes a bit of common sense to make sure nothing's chafing or going to chafe or be under any stress. So basically, we're making good progress. But if we achieve this in a day, then it's quite a feat, because when we started this company, conversions could take anywhere from 6 to 12 months to complete. And we've refined this process so well that we can basically do it now in a day. So it's quite a proud moment, actually.
With the screen wiring, you have to use some of the original wiring. So you need to find the lights feed for the original dash, the high beam feed, the indicator left and right. I marked out ready. So once you've basically found what you need, label them up, and then we can grab our screen loom and get the screen loom wired in. So this is the screen loom, and as mentioned, you need to find the indicator, low beam, high beam, and an ignition 12-volt feed. That was the one I forgot. This obviously comes pre-terminated. You just need to fit it into the car. Right, so that's ready to go. I'm just going to grab some solder and a soldering iron and some heat shrink. So yeah, once you've identified them, our chosen method of connecting them is solder, but you could obviously put bullet connectors or something like that on it if you like. But yeah, we're going to solder these. And again, using adhesive lined heat shrink, not only does it seal the solder joint, but it also protects the ends of it as well from work hardening if it's moved around.
So now it's time to connect the phase cables to the inverter. So they're labelled M1, M2, M3. And you simply, so this one's M2, so I'm going to connect it. Obviously nothing's live at the moment, so you don't need to worry. Note they go through the motor mount bracket as well. So boot plate bolts, and then I'm going to rest in the middle boot plate. Going to route this wiring behind it and up. So basically this wire here, this comes around this side and connects to the battery pack for the charger. And this one comes around the back to the low voltage side of the battery pack. Or not to cross these threads because they're rib nuts, and crossing rib nuts is never fun. So whilst fitting this boot plate, we've had a little issue. This back edge here is fouling. Someone's done a weld repair here, put a plate in which has brought it out a couple of mil. These kits fit with such fine tolerance, so then his welding's been done to it, not to how it was at the factory. Then we've run into issues. So we're probably just going to have to trim a little bit off there. But these are the sort of things that you come up against because no Fiat 500 is the same. So let's lift it all up. Yeah. So now there's two M8 bolts which bolt into the original engine mounts. So we've actually made a pressing there to pick up off those, and that gives the battery pack structural integrity, I suppose, because the battery pack bolts onto this. So once the boot plate's bolted down here with these two big bolts, we're going to use a series of self-drilling, self-tapper screws. So boot plate is now secured. Next job is to run the low voltage loom, and what I'm doing is I'm tacking it to the original loom just with some cable ties. As you can see, it just follows that really nicely. So for those keen listeners who were listening at the start of the video, you would have remembered the ignition coil wire we've kept, and the reason for that is it's an ignition live, and if you look at the loom here, we have an ignition 12 volt. So this yellow wire is joining to that wire there. So I'm going to solder that to there. This other green wire here says brake light. So what this needs to do, this needs to go to the high side of the brake bulb, basically. So what this does is when the car's regenning, it puts the brake lights on to stop people rear-ending you. So that's also really important. Right, that's now connected. We've tied into that. Now this light fitting can go back on. Do one bit and then the other bit pops out.
So I have actually already fitted throttle, but I'll show you how to do it. So throttle's in here in the tunnel. So what you do is use it as your drill jig, make a mark on the top left, bottom right hole, drill it, and then using the M5 bolts supplied, bolt her up. Fit the fork to there first, run it through your original throttle cable, and then fit the solderless nipple. So now that's done, we can plug the Loom in, which is residing in our tunnel. Plug him in, tuck him down. Our centre console back in with the forward and reverse direction switch. So again, find the plug, which is from earlier, threaded into the tunnel. Yeah, that is actually in, just didn't clip. So that just sits in there and it gets sandwiched against the centre console when it's all screwed in. So for now, we'll leave like that. Obviously, we need to put the carpet and stuff back over for final fitting. But once it's been tested, then we can whip that back out, fit all the interior back. But for now, that's good to go. Also, now I've done the screen wiring, connected our connectors up and done the wiring that I showed you earlier. The screen can get plugged in and fitted. Lovely.
So before we fit the battery pack, you'll notice there's a high voltage Loom kit here. This needs connecting, putting through the boot plate essentially and connecting to the inverter. So this quick connector here is what goes into the battery pack and this goes to the inverter. We've also got a couple of these as well which go on the other side when it's bolted up. They're also marked as well, polarity, so you've got negative and positive. First thing I'm going to do is fit the glands to the boot plate. The HV kit. I'm going to look underneath and the inverter is marked positive and negative. So the positive side is this one. So I put in the positive one through this hole, like that, and the negative one through that hole. Right, I'm going to wind the glands on from the gland nuts on the other side till my lengths are good. Ah, I nailed it. Before the last job, before we fit the battery pack, is this. So this is the ground for the battery pack. So I'm going to pick up off the stud here and bolt that up. So knit that up. We're all going to have lunch soon, hopefully, after when this battery box is in. There'll be battery box in. We've got that 12-volt battery in the front. So basically, it's battery pack install time. 1:30. It's really good progress. So to install the battery pack, we usually use a sacrificial bit of plastic or cardboard to put down on here because when we lift it on, we don't want to scratch the paint. Right, let's go for it. Right. So this is definitely a two-man job. We always look different. Okay.
See that synchronous there?
That was beautiful, Johnny. See, beautiful. 1, 2. First I'm going to connect to this. This is the charger HV connector. They're really easy. They just basically push in and connect all the way. Now there's a little ring terminal here which connects to this earth post at the back. Not sure you can see, but and that ground that we did earlier needs connecting as well. So you've got 2 grounds connecting to that post. We've got our low voltage plug, which is really super easy. Plugs into here, like that. Then this little guy here is your permanent live feed that goes to the front of the car. And that needs connecting to that red post for the permanent live. Now we can safely connect the high voltage to the battery. Now, I know what you're thinking, you know, don't worry about it. Basically, both these connectors here, they both have a contactor on both the positive and the negative, which are currently always resting in the open state. So these are only live, or they only can be live when this is connected to it. And that uses what's called high voltage interlock. So there's 2 small pins in there. And if those aren't detected inside this pin, those relays can never close, the big contactors, so it's very safe. Push that in all the way, and then this lever pulls it in. There we go. Oh, look at that.
So now it's time to connect up the 12-volt battery. So we ran our cable earlier and we fitted our terminal with the fuse. One important note is to make sure that this plastic ring is on here, because if you fit it without, you're essentially bypassing the fuse. So fit the plastic ring, terminal on, and then the nut on the terminal. Cool, job's good then.
Everything's in. We're pretty confident it's going to work, but you always get teething problems usually near the end of when everything's connected, but we'll see how we get on. We'll flick the ignition on and see what happens. Oh, that's good, sorry. Aha, so that's a good sign. So when you hear 2 clicks, that's both the contactors closing, and that's always a good sign. So should we see if it spins? Moment of truth. Oh yeah! So it's spinning, which is great. So now we're going to test charging. So you should have 1 contactor, and then another contactor should close. There it is. Time is 3:20. We've basically converted this car to electric in around 6 hours. We've even had lunch. Johnny's just putting the interior back in now, which shouldn't be much longer. We're going to lower it off the ramp and then drive it out. So yeah, we weren't quite sure how long it was going to take today, because we're kind of balancing filming as well as converting the car and getting the right shots and stuff like that. So we're actually very pleased with how quickly that went together. So don't forget, we ship kits worldwide, and this kit is also aimed for a DIY. Having said that, you need to have some practical skills, but it is designed to be fit as easy as possible. Yeah, no, not. So there we have it. That's not bad for a day's work. In and out in 6 hours. I'm absolutely delighted. So yeah.